Hey Wealth Builders! Andre Hennick here, and today we're covering one of the most direct, most challenging teachings Jesus ever gave about money, investing, and wealth building. And I'm going to warn you right now, this teaching is going to make you uncomfortable, because Jesus doesn't give participation trophies. He doesn't coddle people who play it safe with their money. He's harsh on people who bury their potential. I'm talking about the parable of the talents. And if you think Christianity means you should just be content with little and never pursue wealth, this parable is about to completely wreck that theology. If you're ready for Jesus' actual teaching on investing, risk-taking, and multiplying wealth, not the watered-down version you might have heard, hit that subscribe button right now, because what you're about to learn will change how you think about money and faith. Let's dive in. Let me read you the parable from Matthew 25. Jesus says, "A man going on a journey called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one, he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey." So we've got 3 servants, different amounts of money based on their abilities, and their boss leaves town. Watch what happens. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also, the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master returns and settles accounts. The 5-talent guy brings 10. The 2-talent guy brings 4. The master says to both of them, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." But the 1-talent guy says, "Master, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown, and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid, and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you." And here's where Jesus shocks everyone. The master is furious. He says, "You wicked, lazy servant. You should have at least put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. Take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. Then Jesus concludes with this bomb, "For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them." Harsh? Absolutely. Countercultural? Completely. But it's what Jesus actually taught. And this is principle number 1. Principle 1. God expects you to multiply what he gives you. Let's be crystal clear about what Jesus is teaching here. The master, representing God, gives each servant resources, not equal amounts, different amounts based on ability. And he expects multiplication, not preservation, not protection, not just don't lose it. Multiplication. The 5-talent guy doubles his investment. The 2-talent guy doubles his. Both are praised equally. The 1-talent guy preserves his capital and gets called wicked and lazy. In 2026, this destroys the false theology that says Christians should just be content with little. Money is evil, so don't pursue it. Just pray, and God will provide without you working. Poverty is somehow more spiritual than prosperity. Jesus says, "I give you resources. I expect you to multiply them. If you don't, you're wicked and lazy." That's intense, but it's true. Here's how this applies in 2026. Your income is a talent. Whether you make $30,000 or $300,000, God expects you to multiply it, not just spend it all. In 2026, if you're spending 100% of your income and investing 0%, you're the 1-talent servant. You're not multiplying. You're burying your potential in consumption. Your skills are talents. God gave you abilities, intelligence, creativity, work ethic. In 2026, if you're not developing your skills, learning new things, and increasing your earning capacity, you're burying your talents. That graphic design skill, market it. That writing ability, monetize it. That technical knowledge, build with it. Your time is a talent. You have 24 hours a day, same as everyone else. In 2026, if you're wasting 4 hours a day on social media, Netflix, and gaming but complaining you don't have time to build wealth, you're burying your time talent. Time invested in skill development, side hustles, or networking multiplies. Time wasted on entertainment just disappears. Your connections are talents. Your network, relationships, and influence are given to you. In 2026, if you're not leveraging relationships to create opportunities for yourself and others, you're burying your network talent. Strategic networking multiplies opportunity. Here's your uncomfortable assignment. Calculate your multiplication rate. How much have you increased in the past year? Income up or flat? Skills expanded or stagnant? Investments growing or non-existent? Network expanding or same people? Impact increasing or plateaued? If everything is flat or shrinking, you're the one-talent servant. Jesus is calling you lazy. Ouch! But true. Comment right now. I will multiply. Let's commit to growth, not preservation. Principle 2. Risk is required for reward. Here's what people miss about this parable. The 5-talent and 2-talent servants took risk. They put their money to work. In first-century context, that means they invested in businesses, trade ventures, or lending, all of which carried risk of loss. They could have lost everything. The investments could have failed. Ships could have sunk. Businesses could have collapsed. But they took the risk anyway, and they won. The 1-talent servant played it safe. He literally buried the money in the ground to protect it. 0 risk, 0 loss, but also 0 growth. And Jesus calls him wicked for it. This is revolutionary for 2026. Playing it safe is not faithful stewardship. It's lazy fear. Let me say that again, because it's going to upset some people. If you're so risk-averse that you never invest, never start a business, never take career leaps, never do anything that could fail, you're not being wise. You're being fearful, and Jesus condemns that. In 2026, here's how this plays out. Investing requires risk. Every investment has risk. Stocks could crash. Real estate could depreciate. Businesses could fail. But Jesus expects you to invest anyway. The 1-talent servant should have at least put my money on deposit with the bankers, earning interest. In 2026, if you're keeping all your money in a savings account, earning 0.01%, while inflation is 3 to 4%, you're actually losing value. Jesus would call that lazy. Put your money to work in index funds, real estate, businesses, or other investments. Starting a business requires risk. The 5-talent and 2-talent servants invested in ventures that could fail. In 2026, if God has given you a business idea, skills, or vision, but you're too afraid to start because, what if it fails? You're the 1-talent servant. Start the business. Take the risk. Failure is better than never trying. Career advancement requires risk. Asking for that raise, applying for that promotion, switching to a higher paying field, relocating for opportunity, all risky. In 2026, playing it safe in a dead-end job because it's comfortable is burying your talent. Take the career risk. Education and skill development require risk. Investing money and time in certifications, courses, or degrees is risky. What if you don't get ROI? In 2026, the biggest risk is not investing in yourself. The 1-talent servant wouldn't even risk learning something new. Don't be that person. Now let me be clear. Jesus isn't saying be reckless. He's saying be strategic. The servants didn't gamble. They invested wisely, but they did invest. Here's the question. What calculated risk is God calling you to take in 2026? Maybe it's investing your first $1,000 in index funds, starting that side business you've planned for years, asking for a 20% raise you deserve, moving to a city with more opportunities, investing in education that increases your earning power. The master didn't praise the servants for 0 risk. He praised them for wise risk-taking. Your assignment: identify one calculated risk you'll take in the next 30 days. Research it, plan it, then do it. Post it in the comments for accountability. Principle 3. God gives different amounts based on ability. Notice that the master didn't give all 3 servants the same amount. 5 talents to one, 2 to another, 1 to the third, each according to his ability. This is important. God doesn't expect equal results. He expects proportional multiplication based on what he gave you. The 5-talent guy and 2-talent guy both doubled their money. The 5-talent guy made 5 talents profit. The 2-talent guy made 2 talents profit. But they received the same praise. Why? Because they both maximized what they were given. In 2026, stop comparing yourself to others. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 20. Maybe you're just starting with $500 while someone else has $500,000. That's okay. God doesn't expect you to produce the same dollar amount as them. He expects you to multiply your $500. If you turn $500 into $1,000, and they turn $500,000 into $1,000, you both doubled. You both win. Focus on your percentage, not your peer's portfolio. The 2-talent guy didn't say, I only made 2 talents while he made 5, so I'm a failure. He made 100% return. That's excellent. In 2026, if you increase your net worth by 50% this year, that's phenomenal. Even if your friend increased theirs by a bigger dollar amount. Focus on your multiplication rate. Start with what you have. The 1-talent guy had the least, but he still could have doubled it to 2 talents. In 2026, you might think, I only have $100. That's not enough to invest. Wrong. Invest the $100. Maybe it becomes $200, then $400, then $800. Compounding starts small. Jesus doesn't condemn you for starting small. He condemns you for not starting. Steward your unique gifts. God gave you specific abilities. You might not have someone else's charisma, intelligence, or opportunities. That's fine. Maximize what you have. In 2026, stop wishing you had someone else's advantages. Start multiplying your own talents. Here's your mindset shift. Success is not measured by how much you have. Success is measured by how well you multiplied what you were given. If God gave you 5 talents worth of ability, and you produce 5 talents of results, you're actually underperforming. You should have produced 10. If God gave you 1 talent worth of ability, and you produce 2 talents of results, you're overperforming. You're a champion. Your question this week, based on the abilities, income, opportunities, and resources God has given you, are you maximizing them, or are you underperforming? Principle 4. Fear is the enemy of multiplication. The 1-talent servant's excuse is revealing. He says, Master, I knew that you are a hard man, so I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. He was afraid. Fear paralyzed him. Fear made him bury the talent. Fear destroyed his potential. And the master doesn't say, oh, I understand fear is hard. He says, you wicked, lazy servant. He rejects the fear excuse. In 2026, fear is the #1 reason people don't build wealth. Fear of losing. What if the investment goes bad? What if the business fails? What if I lose money? This fear keeps people in cash, which guarantees they lose to inflation. In 2026, the greater risk is not investing. You're guaranteed to lose purchasing power if you don't put money to work. Fear of judgment. What if people think I'm greedy? What if my friends judge me for wanting wealth? In 2026, caring more about others' opinions than God's expectations will keep you broke. Jesus expects multiplication. Stop letting fear of judgment bury your potential. Fear of responsibility. If I have more money, I'll have more stress, more decisions, more complexity. In 2026, this is laziness disguised as wisdom. The master gave talents and expected them to be managed. More capacity means more responsibility. Embrace it. Fear of success. What if I actually succeed? What if people expect more from me? What if I can't sustain it? In 2026, this fear sabotages people right at the edge of breakthrough. The master blessed the successful servants with more responsibility. That's a reward, not a curse. Here's what Jesus is teaching. God's perfect love casts out fear. If God gave you the talents, He expects you to multiply them. Trusting Him means taking action despite fear. The 1-talent servant didn't trust the master. He feared him. That fear led to paralysis, and paralysis led to condemnation. Your breakthrough question. What would you do financially if you had no fear? Would you start that business? Would you invest aggressively? Would you ask for that raise? Would you pursue that opportunity? Would you take that risk? Whatever you just answered, that's what God is calling you to do. The fear is not protection. It's a prison. Break free. Comment, I reject fear. Let's declare freedom from fear-based decision-making. Principle 5. Use it or lose it. Here's the most shocking part of the parable. After the master rebukes the 1-talent servant, he takes the talent away and gives it to the 10-talent guy. Then Jesus says, for whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. Wait, what? That seems unfair, right? Why take from the person with the least and give to the person with the most? Because use it or lose it is a kingdom principle. God doesn't bless stagnation. He blesses multiplication. In 2026, this principle is operating whether you recognize it or not. Skills you don't use atrophy. If you learned Spanish in high school but never practiced, you lost it. If you have a degree you never applied, it's wasted. In 2026, skills that aren't used disappear. Muscles that aren't exercised atrophy. Keep using and developing your abilities, or they'll diminish. Money that's not invested loses value. Inflation is averaging 3.4% in recent years. Money sitting in checking accounts loses purchasing power every year. In 2026, if you're not investing, you're literally getting poorer. Use your money to make money, or it will lose value. Opportunities not seized disappear. Real estate markets shift. Job openings close. Business windows pass. In 2026, opportunities have expiration dates. The person who takes action gets rewarded. The person who hesitates loses the opportunity entirely. Networks not maintained dissolve. Relationships require investment. In 2026, if you're not adding value to your network shrinks. Connections fade. Opportunities go to people who maintain relationships. Here's the hard truth. God doesn't coddle underperform. He doesn't say, well, you tried your best with your one talent, so I'll just let you keep it. He takes it away and gives it to someone who will actually use it. This happens in real life constantly. The employee who won't develop skills gets laid off while the motivated employee gets promoted. The investor who stays in cash gets poorer while the wise investor gets richer. The business owner who won't adapt goes bankrupt while the innovative entrepreneur thrives. Multiplication compounds. Stagnation decays. And God designed the system that way. Your accountability question. What talents are you currently wasting? Time you're squandering on entertainment instead of investing in growth? Money sitting idle instead of being invested? Skills you're not developing or monetizing? Opportunities you're ignoring out of fear or laziness? Identify one wasted talent this week and put it to work before it's taken from you. Principle 6. The master judges based on faithfulness, not feelings. Look at what the master says to the successful servants. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. He doesn't say, well done, you lucky servant, or well done, you talented servant. He says, faithful servant. Faithfulness is consistent action despite circumstances, feelings, or obstacles. The 5-talent and 2-talent guys were faithful to multiply what they were given. The 1-talent guy was unfaithful. He let fear dictate his actions. In 2026, God doesn't care about your excuses. He cares about your faithfulness. I don't feel motivated. Not relevant. The master didn't ask the servants how they felt. He asked what they produced. In 2026, your feelings are not facts. You might not feel like investing, budgeting, working on your side hustle, or taking that risk. Do it anyway. Faithfulness means action despite feelings. I'm too busy. The master was gone a long time. Plenty of time to multiply talents. In 2026, everyone has the same 24 hours. Stop saying you're too busy. Say you haven't prioritized it, then reprioritize. Faithful people make time for what matters. I don't have enough. The 1-talent guy had the least, but could have still doubled it. In 2026, start with what you have. $10 invested monthly becomes $15,000 plus in 30 years with compound growth. Faithfulness with small amounts leads to being trusted with large amounts. I'm waiting for the right time. The servants acted immediately, went at once. In 2026, there's never a perfect time. Markets are always uncertain. Life is always complicated. Faithful people start before they feel ready. I tried once and failed. The text doesn't say the investments were guaranteed successes. The servants took risks. Some ventures probably failed, but they kept investing. In 2026, faithfulness means persisting through failures. One bad investment doesn't mean stop investing. Learn and continue. The master judges actions, not intentions. He judges results, not efforts. He judges multiplication, not maintenance. Your faithfulness check. In the past 12 months, have you been faithful with your money, investing, saving, giving, your time, developing skills, building assets, your opportunities, taking risks, pursuing growth, your relationships, adding value, maintaining connections? If you haven't been faithful, today is the day to change that. The master is coming back to settle accounts. Are you ready? Principle 7. Rewards are massive for multipliers. Look at what happens to the successful servants. The master says, "You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." They go from managing a few talents to being put in charge of many things. That's promotion. That's multiplication of responsibility and reward. And they're invited to share the master's happiness. That's intimacy, celebration, joy, relationship with the master. In 2026, when you faithfully multiply what God gives you, the rewards are massive, financial rewards. The 10-talent guy now has 10 talents. Multiplication compounds. In 2026, when you faithfully invest, your wealth compounds exponentially. The first 10K is hardest. The first 100K is tough. But once you hit 500K, wealth compounds faster than you can spend it. Faithful multiplication creates abundance. Increased responsibility. Being put in charge of many things is a promotion. In 2026, when you prove faithful with your current resources, God trusts you with more. Better job, bigger business, larger platform, more influence. Faithfulness opens doors. Greater capacity. Managing 5 talents develops different skills than managing 1. In 2026, as you build wealth, you develop decision-making, emotional control, strategic thinking, and leadership. You become a different person. Wealth doesn't just give you money. It builds character, if you steward it correctly. Eternal rewards. Share your master's happiness. Points beyond temporal success. In 2026, faithful stewardship on earth has eternal implications. Jesus taught that how you handle earthly wealth determines heavenly rewards. This isn't prosperity gospel. This is straight from Jesus' teaching. Faithful multiplication matters eternally. Here's the beautiful promise. When you're faithful with what God gives you, however much or little that is, He doesn't just give you more money. He gives you more capacity, more opportunity, more influence, and more intimacy with Him. Your vision exercise. Imagine it's 10 years from now. You've been faithfully multiplying your talents for a decade. Write down. 1. What does your financial situation look like? 2. What opportunities have opened up? 3. How many people have you blessed with your multiplication? 4. How has your character grown through faithful stewardship? Let that vision pull you through the daily discipline of multiplication. Let's recap Jesus' investing and multiplication principles from the parable of the talents. 1. God expects you to multiply what He gives you: resources, skills, time, connections. 2. Risk is required for reward. Playing it safe is lazy fear, not faithful wisdom. 3. Different amounts based on ability. Maximize your percentage, not someone else's portfolio. 4. Fear is the enemy of multiplication. Trust and action beat fear and paralysis. 5. Use it or lose it. God doesn't bless stagnation. He blesses multiplication. 6. Judged on faithfulness, not feelings. Actions and results matter. Excuses don't. 7. Rewards are massive for multipliers. Financial, relational, eternal. This is Jesus' actual teaching on money, investing, and wealth. Not be content with poverty. Not money is evil. Not just pray and don't work. He says, I gave you talents. Multiply them. And if you don't, you're wicked and lazy. That's harsh, but it's true. And it's actually liberating, because it means God wants you to build wealth. He expects you to take strategic risks. He blesses multiplication. The question is, are you going to be a 5-talent multiplier, a 2-talent multiplier, or a 1-talent barrier? Here's what I need from you. 1. Subscribe for weekly biblical wealth and investing wisdom. 2. Comment. Which servant are you right now? Be honest. 3. Share this with someone who's playing it safe with their talents. 4. Download the Parable of Talents Investment Planner. Link in description. 5. Join our Biblical Wealth Builders community. Next week, we're covering Jacob's negotiation tactics. How he went from broke and on the run to wealthy through masterful negotiation and strategic thinking. If you're in sales, business, or any field requiring negotiation, you can't miss it. Remember, you have talents, money, time, skills, opportunities. Jesus expects you to multiply them. Not someday, not when it's comfortable. Starting today. Will you be found faithful when the Master returns? This is Andre Hennick, and I'll see you in the next video. Now go multiply your talents.